Whole Foods was, for 20 years, I think, one of the best companies to work for. And I think that's because of the...
Probably for all 44 years I was there, but
yeah.
we were named one of the 100
Okay.
best companies to work for 20 consecutive years.
Better, well, yeah, much better put. And that's because of the culture you created, because I think you've done the work. You were very spiritual your whole life, from what I've learned. Tell us a little bit about that culture that you created, and what you've infused in it. Because we, like, for instance, my business partner and I, we have a small and nimble team. We have not grown to the magnitude of a Whole Foods. But like when we get our management team together, we do human design and gene keys, and we understand how people need to be supported and to support their own zone of genius. And you treat your team members the same way, even as it's grown over 44 years.
I get asked a lot of questions about culture. And the most important thing to understand is that culture is something that you co-create. The leader sort of sets the pace for it, but it is a co-creation of everyone interacting and being involved. And it kind of starts with the purpose. If you have a higher purpose, that helps orient the culture and direction of fulfilling that purpose. Whole Foods' higher purpose was to nourish people and the planet. And Love Life's higher purpose is to help people to be the healthiest version of themselves. So once you have purpose, then the next thing, what are your core values? Like Whole Foods' core values, sell the highest quality natural and organic foods in the world, to satisfy and delight our customers, to help our team members to be healthy and grow and happy, to be good partners with our suppliers. So we lay out all of our to be environmentally responsible. We'd lay out all our core values, put them up, and that's what we had to live up to. And then final thing is, what are your leadership principles? How do you lead? What are the ways that you're connecting with people? You can have a leadership principle around telling the truth, being a service at all times. And so you put your leadership principles out there, and those, like the core values, but this is kind of the way we do things. And so if you get those purpose, core values, and leadership principles intact, now you can put it all out there, but how you show up as the CEO, you embody the purpose, you embody the core values, you embody them. And so if you don't walk the talk, it doesn't mean anything. You have to be the archetype of the culture yourself. You have to live it, breathe it, and think it. Or you're a hypocrite. Or you need to get a different kind of culture, because people aren't going to believe it.
Yeah.
So I don't think many CEOs pay enough attention to culture. They take it for granted, or they delegate it to their HR department. Huge mistake. I really feel like the CEO needs to be realized that culture is living, and it can be evolving, or it can be devolving. It can be getting less healthy. And so, kind of like a garden, you got to pull the weeds out, and you got to nurture the healthy plants. Same way in a culture.
Yeah. And have you always been kind of like heart-led or conscious on this journey? Like, I know that you've evolved over time and increased your capacity.
You're answering the question for me.
Yeah. I guess that's right. I guess maybe paint that picture of that evolution, because we're all works in progress, and we will continue until we,
Well, I mean, it has been a journey. I wrote a book, a memoir called The Whole Story. It came out just a year ago now. And it's the story of Whole Foods. It's my own story personally, my own spiritual journey. And I always tell people everybody should write a memoir. When you're older, you should write a memoir. It's a gift you give to your children, your family, your friends. I had friends read my memoir and says, I think I finally get you. You always confused me before. So the point is that consciousness is something that does evolve. And I'm more conscious today than I was 30 or 40 years ago. Hopefully less conscious than I'll be in 5 or 10 years from now. So I do think that, again, we're all on a spiritual journey. We're all awakening. We're all awakening to love. We're all awakening to a higher purpose. And by the way, reflecting or turning that back around to culture, the two things that I found are most important in culture, if you have these two things, if you get these two things right, the rest fall into place. First is the purpose. I cannot emphasize this enough. People want purpose. People want meaning. And if you can create that in your organization where everybody wants to feel like their work's contributing in some way. They want to feel good about themselves, that what they're doing makes a difference. It's not just earning a living. That's important. They have to be able to earn a living too. But if that's just it, then their life energy will be somewhere else. And if you want to have it in the work, in the organization, then purpose doesn't really matter. Secondly is love. Those are the two most important values in life, purpose and love. Because everybody wants to feel like their work matters and everybody wants to feel like they're cared about. And so if you can create those two things, people stay with you forever. I mean, when Amazon bought Whole Foods Market back in 2017, the thing that surprised Amazon the most when they started looking through looking under the hood was, gosh, people work here so long. Because Amazon does not have long tenure there. And it's more of a professional culture, whereas Whole Foods was more of a love culture, more of a family. And even though we got really large, we kept that sort of feeling. And that was for me why I stayed so long. It's because I love so many people I was working with. The hardest thing for me was I kind of outlived my peer group. I'm not outlived them, but I was continuing to work when they were all retiring. And so it was the people that I had been in the foxhole with and shared the triumphs and suffered the losses together. Yeah, they weren't there any longer. So it was a little bit less fulfilling for me as time passed.